Hey, before we get started, I need to make something very clear. If I tell one single lie in this whole story, then may my mans and them never work again, may my kids disown me, and may God Himself never allow me to be successful in anything I do in life. Everything I'm getting ready to tell you is actual fact. It really happened. I have some pictures and some videos that are going to support what I'm telling you.
Peak of a dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. Well, we slow dancing cheek to cheek.
So, it all takes place at a house that I lived at twice. It's on Berkshire Road out in Dundalk. So, my mother and her friend had moved into a house. Her friend lived in the basement originally, her and her husband. Her husband died in the middle of the night in his sleep. So once he died, I get a call from the landlord offering me the landlord suite in the basement. My mother's best friend was going to move up to the second floor where my mother lived at, and we were going to cohabitate. So I move in my first night into this house. About 20 feet from my bed is the back door, and there's a 5-foot mirror on the back of the door. As I'm climbing into my bed, I look over and there is a shadow that walks in the frame, looks at me, and walks out of frame. I see it. I didn't feel no type of way about it. Next morning, I tell the woman who lived upstairs, I say, hey, I think your husband stopped by and said hi last night. Small thing to a giant. So, fast forward, a lot of things happen. I ended up having situations in my life where I moved out. I actually, fuck it, I had to go to rehab. I had relapsed, and it put me in rehab for a 90-day program. I come out, I go stay with family, and I get another call from the same woman. The landlord's husband had died in Cecil County from a random slip and fall accident. She was heartbroken. She was having health issues. She said, I have no tenants in the house right now. If you'll move in, I will not rent the house out to anybody else. If you help me do home health care and take care of me while I go through these series of surgeries, you're welcome to have the whole upstairs, which I accepted. Now, before that happened, right before I went to rehab, my mother had died in this house. So this is 3 people that died associated with this home. My mother died in the living room on the couch. She died from an opiate overdose, which is why I went to rehab. So I move into this house. My first night there again, I'm sitting in a computer chair at the end of my bed looking at my TV. Behind my TV is a mirror. Now, in the mirror, I see the reflection of a shadow walk past my face. I don't see it in front of me. And the way the light's coming off the TV, which is the only light in the room, like it didn't even make sense how that shadow would be in the mirror. It wasn't the same shape as the original one from the first time I lived there. I thought it was my mother. I even said, "Hey mom, how you doing? Like I'm not scared. Like it ain't nothing." Cool. A day or two later, I'm sitting in that same chair, and the door is open. I'm facing the hallway. The door is split in my vision. On the left side of the doorknob, it's a brass doorknob, gold colored, very shiny. There's nothing. On the right side of the doorknob, there's 2 shadows. One is tall and thin, standing directly next to me and has his hand around my neck, tight, not choking me, but very tight, standing directly next to me. And on the other side of me, there is a short, heavier set shadow, which reminded me of her husband's physique. That was his build. He was shorter. He was very heavy set. And it looked like him standing back away from the thin guy, but off to the other side of me. I whip around. There's nothing behind me. Whatever. Small thing. So I start getting comfortable in the house. I'm doing my job as home health care. She's getting her surgeries. I'm helping take care of her. And I notice out my door, I see an old man leaning on the banister like this. He has on, they're white pajamas, but they had black stripes on them. And it was like a thick stripe, thin stripe, thick stripe, thin stripe coming all down his chest. Didn't never acknowledge me, just stood there. He would walk down the steps, he would walk back up the steps and post back up. That was the only thing he ever did. I didn't feel any kind of threat from him. It was no issue. Let me pause there. I have never had a visual hallucination outside of any time. Like outside of this house, I've never questioned my mental state. All right. I've done some things in my life. I've always been coherent. I don't suffer from schizophrenia. I don't have any mental health disorders. Ever since I moved out of this house, I haven't had any experiences. So let's continue. This older guy had a wife who I felt they never spoke to me. I've never heard a voice from anything inside this house. But there was a woman who would peer at me from the bathroom, like in front of the door would sit kind of cocked. Like that's just from the door not being hung straight. It would sit on an angle. And she would be in the cut, like behind the door and the sink. But I would see her, short white hair, older white lady, short. And she would just look at me. And she had on white pajamas, dingy white, with a blue starburst in different sizes on her pajama bottoms and top. So those became like roommates. Like I didn't bother them, they didn't bother me, was no issue. One night, and this is where it gets like scary. One night I'm going to the bathroom and I happen to look down the steps. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. I look directly down the steps and there's a front door. On this front door is a glass oval. On that oval, it's like opaque, shattered glass, and then a clear glass rim, and then shattered glass, then a clear glass rim. So you can see through it, but you can't see through it. And there is a very tall, shadow, hooded figure looking at me through the door. I think somebody's on the porch. Like, I'm not even putting two and two together at this point. I go down the steps, I open the door, nobody there, nobody out front. Open the door, look down the street, nothing. I go back up, I look back down the steps, it's there again. And now I'm putting it together. So I start giving it the finger. I'm telling it I'm not scared. Like, I'm antagonizing this thing. And to be honest, looking back on it, it accepted my challenge. So a day or two goes by. Again, I wake up in the middle of the night. It's always between 1 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Look, I'm not saying nothing about the witching hour. This has nothing to do with that. This is just what happened. All right, so whatever conclusions you draw, I'm going to show and tell you what I experienced and you deal with that. So I'm going to the bathroom. I look down. There's a white girl, curly brown, like dark brown hair, shoulder length, a white bubble coat, puffy bubble coat, standing at the front door. And I know there's a lot of addicts out here. I'm a recovering addict. That's what I'm thinking is going on. I go down to the door, open it, nobody's there. I go to the top of the steps, look back down again, and now there is a guy. She's in the background. I can still see her, but she's behind this guy who is about my height, about 6'2", short brown hair, a little shorter than mine is now. And he's standing there, black bubble coat, similar to her coat, bubble, puffy. I go back downstairs. I'm thinking somebody's playing a game with me. Open the door, nobody there. Look outside, nobody there. Go back up. So that happens. The next thing that happens within a day or two is I'm in my bedroom and my blinds are shut, but they're open. Like the slats are like this where you can still see out. and I see lanterns strewn across the roof, across the street, and it looks like a party. There's probably 6 to 8 people up there, and they're talking amongst themselves. But then everybody looks at me. I look at them, and I'm thinking they just see me through the window like I see them. And like a couple of them start pointing over at me. I close my blinds. I'm thinking it's just like, hey, they can see me too. Close the thing up. The next morning, I go out and I look across the street, and the roof is pitched. And I'm like, there ain't no way they had a party on this pitched roof. Maybe it's a barn style where it's flatter on one side, on the back side. So I walk down my steps, up the street, make a right down the alley, and walk around the back of their house. And it's a complete peak. There is no way that anybody was having a party up on this roof. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. So now I know that the house is messing with me. Like it's become apparent. Like 2 + 2 = 4 all day. So during the day, nothing ever happens. Another night, I'm not going to say the time frame because at this point, I only remember the series of events. The time frame between the date I moved in and this happened, I would be lying to you if I try to say it was 2 days later, a day, 3 days, 5, whatever. I don't know, because I'm already getting stressed out at this point. I have seen the hooded figure down through the door intermittently. But now one night I get up, use the bathroom, look down the steps, and there is a complete, what I guess as a fourth grade, it's always been in my mind that they were fourth graders. They were small children, probably 15 to 30 of them. It looked like a class. Like that's the feeling I had in my heart. It was a class. And all these kids are standing on the front porch pointing through the window, through that glass oval at me and laughing. And I don't hear the laughter, but I can tell by the mannerisms that that's what's going on. So, I don't even go downstairs for that. I know that it's, between 1 and 3 o'clock, 1 and 4 o'clock in the morning, there's not a bunch of fourth graders out. I ignore it. I go in the bathroom, use the bathroom, go back in my bedroom, do whatever I'm doing, dismiss it. So another night, the next thing that happened was that, and in this time, the older man and the older woman are still there intermittently. Again, never interacting, just random. And this isn't even necessarily at midnight or after midnight. This is 11 o'clock. This could be 10:30. This could be 5 o'clock in the morning. I've seen them, but it wasn't nefarious. It didn't seem threatening to me. Not saying it wasn't. I don't know. I'm just telling you what happened. So, all right, that. The next thing that happens is I end up sitting on the steps. I see this thing, and I'm really starting to doubt my mind. And I'm an intelligent person. Like I'm articulate. I can speak. I have a high IQ. I have a high aptitude. I'm very good at comprehension, and I'm starting to doubt my mind at this point. Like, am I going crazy? Am I at 40? Am I developing schizophrenia? Which I had a friend, JP, and her mom had schizophrenia, and she and I dated when she was a teenager and later. So I know that adults can have it and some of the symptoms, but I'm like, yo, I'm completely coherent. Like how her actions and my actions were not the same. Like our movement wasn't the same. I was still living a normal life for me, a normal life. And the next thing that happened, I sit on the steps. That's right. And the shadow thing is sitting there, like standing there in the doorway, and I'm sitting on the top of the steps, and I'm talking my best ish. Like I'm dragging on them. Like I really am. I'm not saying I'm a tough guy, but being fed up will bring a lot out of you, especially when you already have certain characteristics. Being fed up with something will really get you hot. So I'm talking my best game. Like, yeah, I'm giving it the middle finger, talking about you don't scare me, you ain't doing nothing, like you bluffing, like talking my best. And all right, so now after this happens, and I'm going to show this video after I'm done telling you this, my door would start opening to my bedroom, and it would be latched. It would be completely shut, and I would check, because after it happened the first couple times, I started putting. There was 3 towels that I had in my bedroom, two black, 1 gray, and they were rolled up. I don't fold my towels. I roll them up. Saves on space. So I would put all 3 towels in front of this door to make sure it wasn't a draft that was pushing this door open. It would still move. It would still open up. It would open up. I would put the 3 towels, throw a sweatsuit on it, throw these clothes, put my hamper, like not the hamper. I never put the actual hamper, but I would dump the clothes out because I wanted to see how much weight could be there that it would move. I never really physically made it. The hamper was a big wooden hamper. It was like a wicker basket, and I just never put that there. It was inconvenient. I didn't have much space in that doorway anyway. So it would happen. And I'm going to play a video right now. It is a screen grab from my Google Photos, which are from like 2021. And part of the video is going to be me with my flash on my phone looking under the door, and you'll see the towel sitting there. All right. And then there's pictures of the door open, and I didn't see anything with my eyes. Like, I did not see anything looking through that door. But when I looked at the video and I turned the brightness up and things like that, you can see faces. You tell me if you see faces. So there's going to be some still shots from the video, and I'm also going to do the screen grab as I'm reviewing them, and it's going to show the date and time that these were posted to my Google account. So it'll give you an idea. Some are at 5 p.m., some are at 6:45. It's as I'm reviewing, and I'm trying to process the information. So I just keep looking at these videos. I'm doing everything I can to try to figure out what's going on. So I'll play that now. All right. So with that, one of the videos, my bed squeaks a little bit, but I want you to keep in mind that the woman that lived there lives on the bottom floor. My TV's off, my phone's not playing, there's nobody else in the house. I would go downstairs and this woman is in bed, like sleep, dead, like literally dead to the world, just completely sleep off her medications. And you can hear other noises in the background. You can hear the door open. I'm on my bed. You can hear the squeaking of the bed. So there is no way I'm 4 feet away opening that door. And the other still shots are from the videos that I took trying to figure out what was going on. So we're to that point. Now, The woman, I'm doing my home health care duties. I'm sitting by her bed one night. She had just had a surgery a couple days earlier. She was only in there for 24 hours or so. Comes home, and I'm taking. She actually AMA against medical advice checked herself out within 24 hours. So she's in there, and she's like gasping for air like a fish out of water. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, "Hey, you don't look so good. I think we're going to have to send you back to." She's like, "Nah, just give me till the morning. I don't want to go back." I was like, "Look, you don't look good. Like, there's something obviously wrong. I'm calling 911. You're going to have to be mad at me. I love you. Like, I'm not doing this to punish you. I'm doing this because I'm worried." So I call 911. A man and a woman paramedic come in, test her oxygen. She's breathing at like 50. She has like 57% oxygen at that point, which is low. And they took her. They admitted her that night, and they end up diagnosing her with blood clots in her lungs from the surgery she had. And she had to have stents put in her groin to catch it. Her surgery was on her leg. They had to put stents in her groin to catch the blood clots before it would get to her lungs and heart. So she was in the hospital for a couple of days. Now I'm going to touch on this. She had a son. She has two sons. One of them a good son, one of them not such a good son. The not such a good son is who she lived with in Cecil County. He tried to really, from her words, I wasn't privy to that part of her life. He and I didn't have a relationship, but from her words, tried to fraud her out of her house, tried to get her into a home. That's why I ended up there, was so she didn't have to go to a home and he wouldn't take over the house. So he wanted this house. She goes into the hospital. Nobody knows she's in the hospital but me and her. Excuse me. And the night after she goes in, the first night, it's quiet. Excuse me. There's nothing outside. There's nothing going on in the house. Quiet. I get a restful night's sleep for real. The second night, it's probably around 9 o'clock. And I hear a noise out back. And we have floodlights, and I can see from the top floor hallway the floodlights on in the backyard. I go down the steps, and I hear somebody moving around on the porch, and I see a shadow. So remember, I'm already doubting my mind at this point. I still can't give you an accurate, conscious, definitive what it was. So I go down to her basement, go to the back door where that mirror was that I originally saw old boy do the pass by. I go to that door, and right there next to the door is a slop sink that she used as a kitchen sink, and it had a strainer with silverware in it. And I grabbed a butter knife, and I opened the door. There was no steak knives or nothing in there. I just grabbed the first thing I saw. Grabbed that. I opened the door real slow, quiet. Take a look. I lean my head out, look up, and I see people. I can see a green shirt. That's the only thing I saw at the time, was the green shirt. But I thought I saw a foot between the slats. So I stuck the butter knife up through the slats, but in front of the foot. The person looks down at me. I'm looking up at him. We're looking at each other. And the foot lifts up, stomps the butter knife. So now I'm like, oh, this is a real person. Like, this isn't none of that. This is an actual person. So I close the door, lock it, turn all the lights off. Everything's off. I get the two biggest butcher knives I can find, kill all the lights. I'm ready to go to war. So the floodlights are still on in the back. It gets quiet. I don't see no shadows. I open up the back door. Our neighbors, we had a privacy fence in our yard, but our neighbors had just a metal fence going down that side, and there's nothing in the back. So I can see through their backyard. There's a white van, and there is a man with red like burgundy sweatpants on, white shirt, and a green like tarp pulled over his head, held tight right here, but standing there next to a white van like he don't stick out like a sore thumb. And I'm looking, and I'm like I'm astounded. Like I'm literally like, huh? And I'm like, yo, you know I can see you, right? Like I can see you. And this person runs. We lived one house off the corner. So there's an alley, a big white house, then our house, and then the neighbor's house that I see him in. He runs this way. I go out the front door. I wasn't running this way because I don't know where the person with the green shirt is at this point. I run and lock the door, run out the front yard, come around the White House and down the alley. And the person with the red sweatpants was hiding in a yard to the right. And so I'm looking everywhere because I don't want nobody. I know how to move. I don't want nobody getting behind me. I don't want, you know what I mean? I'm ready for action. So the person runs across in front of me, probably 10 feet, runs across behind our privacy fence. But there's also a school on the other side of the alley from us on the backside with a gate there, with trees and all there. It was Berkshire Middle School or elementary school, whatever. They tore it down and built a whole new thing on the whole new school. So the school is still empty at this point. It's over the summertime and into the early fall. I don't think they were open yet. I can't find them. Like I get around there, I'm slow rolling it because I don't want to rush into something and get blindsided. But I check around the van. I go into my neighbor's yard. I look down in their cellar where I can't find nobody. I go back around, go into the front door, and I'm there. And all the lights are still off. I'm sitting in the quiet, and I hear somebody jiggling the basement handle. I still got the two big butchers on me. I go downstairs. I rip the mirror that I originally saw old boy on. I rip it off the door. It was held in with two drywall screws. I rip it off. Boom, it cracks, whatever. But I open the door and I stick the mirror out so I can see the air conditioning unit that's underneath this little window to my right. Like if I come out this door and somebody's right here in this cut, they got me like dead to rights. There's nothing I can do to defend myself in that situation. I hold it out there. They're not there. I don't see nothing, but I think I see movement behind the AC. So I'm kind of tall. I'm like, yo, just come out. Like we can either bang it out or you can go, but we got to do what we got to do. Let's get this over with. Nothing. So I end up finally seeing, like we go through this through the night. In the morning time, the sun's up. It's now daytime. This is the only time that I've seen anything during the day. I come out. I go in the house. I go to my bedroom. I lock everything up. I go to my bedroom. I still got the butchers on me. And I'm like, and this is where I'm going to make my stand. Can't nobody get in through the window that's upstairs on the second floor. There's no awning or nothing under it. Without a ladder, you can't get in here. I'm like, this is my safest place to be. So I lock all the doors, my bedroom door, and I wait it out. Sun comes up. It's about 6:30, 7 o'clock. I go downstairs. I go out on the back porch on the top where they were originally trying to come because really I wanted to see. I don't think anybody's there anymore. I wanted to see if there was any marks on the door frame, see if they damaged anything. I want to assess what's going on. And I look down through the slats. He's still down there, green shirt. And now I see that there's an orange number 55 on his shirt. Older white guy, bald head. I've never seen him in relation to this house. So I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, we're looking at each other. And he takes off. Boom. I'm in pajama pants, no shirt, and two butcher knives. I got old girl's car out front. I go in, I put my shoes on, and lock the back door, go get in her car, and I bang a U-turn in Miller Street, go up the alley, and try to find old boy. I can't find him. In fact, I saw somebody in a kitchen that I thought could have been him, but with everything going on, I'm like, yo, I'm not approaching this house because I'm not even sure. As sure as I am, these are real people. Yo, I'm doubting myself. So I end up going home probably like 20 minutes. I'm whipping around Berkshire all through here. Bip, 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 bip. Don't find them. I know my neighbors thought I was crazy. So I get out, park the car, get in the house. Nothing else happens at that time. Later on that day, and this is also during the daytime, this is probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The lady comes in with her good son, and she is like, "You have got to go. I need my insurance card, my credit card, and there was another card. Insurance card, credit card, prescription, that. It was another card, and I can't think of what, a bank card maybe. Don't hold me to that. I'm not, it was 3 cards though. And she's like, "You gotta go," and I'm like shocked, but also I'm thinking of what happened this morning. Like, did somebody get a hold of her, call her cell phone, and say Mark's lost his mind? Like, I don't know. But she leaves back out with her son, and she's like, "You gotta be gone." I don't leave. I don't leave. I don't even plan on leaving until the next morning because I'm going through it. Like, this has been a very stressful night. I haven't been to sleep yet. She's not here. I'm assuming she's at her son. So I'm like, I got to the morning and I go to sleep. Finally go to sleep. And, oh, before I go to sleep, no, she leaves. I go out on the back porch. I'm bawling. Like, I'm crying. Like, I got tears out of my eyes. And I'm sitting on the steps of the deck and I got tears. And I'm like, I'm trying to rationalize everything that's going on. And I'm like, "Oh, what is going on? Like, am I the demon? Like, is this mental? Am I the problem here?" And my neighbors in that White House I talked about earlier on the corner come out taking boxes out. And I'm sure they heard this shit. I'm positive. They didn't say anything. They didn't acknowledge me, but I know that was real. So once I seen them, we were probably outside at the same time for, 3 or 4 minutes. Got myself together, went in the house. I'm like, I ain't got no wind. I just go to my room, make sure everything's locked, go to my room. I go to sleep. I sleep through the night. And the next morning, I get a call around 11 o'clock. It is the woman. "I'm ready to be picked up from the hospital." "What?" "Come get me. I'm ready to go." I said, "Wait a minute. You weren't here at all yesterday? You haven't been in this house since you went to the hospital?" She said, "No, I've been here. And I'm ready to come home, get in my car and come and get me." Like, she was half being funny because she didn't know what was going on. And I was like, "So you really haven't been in this house in the past 24 hours? She said, "Absolutely not." So when I went to pick her up, the 3 cards are still sitting on the edge of the couch. Like, I know I didn't dream this. I lived this. Like, everything about this was not a dream. The cards are still sitting on the counter. The mirrors downstairs broken outside. Like, this happened. It is not a doubt of whether it happened or not. The doubt is, was I seeing something? Was I was her son coming to try to do things to make her think she was crazy and take over the house? Or was there really something going on in this house? So I pick her up from Franklin Square Hospital, right? The big entrance that they got now, not the emergency room on the side, the big entrance. I pick her up from there. She gets in the car and I told her, I was like, "Look, I got something. You're not gonna like this." I was like, "But I gotta go. Like, I can't stay in this house anymore." And she's upset now. She's like, What do you mean?" I was like, "Look, I'm gonna help you find full-time health care. Like, we will work together, but I can't stay in this house anymore. Like, this house don't like me. Like, there's something going on." And I explained everything because I had to tell her about the glass being broken outside. I had to tell her what went on in case they ever seen something or however it went. Like, even if it didn't happen, like, I don't know. I have no idea. I still can't tell you what's right and what's wrong. But I know every detail of what happened. My story has never changed. Like, there's my friend and his wife. I told this story at their house during a football game to one of their friends. Like, when they see this, if they see it, like, they'll know. Like, his story has never changed. Like, it has not changed one iota. And I ended up making plans to move to Texas, to get out, like, to get out of here. Like, it messed with me that bad. Like, I reconnected with an old flame. I've never made God work so hard to keep me from doing a mistake, because I wasn't supposed to be in Texas. I wasn't being told the truth about that. Like I said, I'm in recovery, and I don't know exactly what she was hiding, but she was hiding something. At best, alcoholism, and it wasn't something that I could deal with, especially not at that time. And when these things went on, I did what addicts do. No, I've never done opiates. I will never touch another opiate in my life, like, period. Like, an addiction is not something I'll ever do. But I did self-medicate in ways. I was taking Adderall, like 30 milligram Adderalls, to keep me awake so I wouldn't fall asleep. Like, I was so, man, like, I self-medicated again. And it wasn't something that led me down a road I didn't want to be in. I was already in a position I didn't want to be in and looked for an escape. But so I got out of there, and it was one of the worst things that I ever went through in life. So before I end this video, because last time I tried to make this video, I made it too long, and I'm trying to be faster now so it doesn't take up as much data, and I can get this thing produced and get it out, hopefully tonight. But I'm getting ready to show another video, and it's going to be a clip of me in my bed. I'm actually in bed in my drawers, and I pull my phone out. The beads, there's a beaded curtain in front of my closet, and randomly they're moving. Like, there's no airflow in this room. It's fall time. It's still warm out. Like, we don't have heat or air on. There's no windows open. The lady lives in the basement. I got the top 2 floors, and they are sealed up. But these things are moving to me. And by the time I get my phone out, they slowed up. But if you look at the little single strands, not the ones that look like eyeballs, but the single strands, they're still swaying a little bit. And I want you to note the tone in my voice and what I say. And I'm going to play that right now.
I'm recording this shit because I'm trying to see if them bitches is really moving, because there is no motherfucking air moving through this fucking room. So tired of this house or whatever fucking with me.
Alright, so in closing, I haven't seen or heard anything since I moved out of that house. My mind has been completely solid. There hasn't even been a doubt about anything going on, whether it was real or not. Like, not a thing. And I haven't changed that much in my life. Like, I'll always be a hard worker. I'll always be intelligent. I'll always be Mark Winterling at the end of the day. So anybody that has any feelings against that, so be it. There's nothing else I can do. I'm going to show from the first video, I'm going to let it play a little bit longer so you can see the pictures and draw your assessments. I'm going to play both videos again, as well as the timestamps from my Google account that'll tell you when they were posted. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end. And I always want you to remember that in real life, this is what it is, that's what it was, and this is what it be like.